Aloha kakahiaka, everyone. Good morning. I'm Peter K. Today's April 11th. You are on the Aloha Friday Hawaii Real Estate Show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us. We've got a great show for you today. Of course, as usual, this is our lineup for today. We're going to cover some Hawaii news. We got some market updates where we have our friends and experts in each of the major islands going through the market updates, what's kind of happening in real estate in those individual markets. We're going to have your questions, which is the most important part of the show. And then we're going to close up with some diamonds and deals, some properties that we think are kind of worth watching it, worth looking at, either diamonds or deals, sometimes both. And then we're going to close up with some motivational thoughts. So as usual, here we are. We're going to first we have to warm up this bad boy here. We have to get the internets working for us. And so we're going to warm up with our friends who are with us here today. We've got Heidi Dollinger, who is hailing from Maui, and we have Dylan Onaka, who is with us from the Big Island. Why don't we kind of start up with, and we have Michael Latta, who has joined us right off the bat. All right, Michael, welcome back, buddy. Michael is I'm proudly saying a long-time frequent a subscriber, viewer, audience member. Welcome, Michael. Good to see you. And if you're with us, let us know where you're from as well. Heidi, give us the update. How are you doing today? How is Maui? We've got a storm, blustery weather would be the way I would characterize it. How are you on Maui today? And how's the coffee? Heidi's famous for her coffee. What's the coffee? And how are you, Heidi?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Peter. It looks like it rained a little bit last night. I'm in Napili over on the west side, but the sun is coming out. I did go and get some coffee this morning at the coffee store. I'm drinking a Kona blend coffee, and it is so good. It is waking me up and giving me lots of energy and excited for the show.
There you go. Nothing like that. Nothing like the buzz of a Kona blend to get you going in the morning. Yes, indeed. And speaking of Kona blends, Dylan, what's going on? Dylan's famous for his daily Aloha shirts, or not about daily, but his wide variety of Aloha shirts. Dylan, what's going on? How are you today?
That's a beautiful day over here in Kona. Looking forward to the weekend. It's been a busy week and last week too, with a lot of travel to all the islands and visiting all of our folks. But I got the Ohelo Berry yellow Aloha shirt today from Living Hula, and always outfitting me top notch. So actually, my wife said we're gonna go shopping this afternoon there because I have an event week after next week over in Oahu that I'll be speaking at, and she always wants a fresh Aloha shirt. So we're going shopping this afternoon.
There you go, man. What you really mean to say is you're going with your wife who's going shopping.
Who's going to pick out what I'm going to wear.
Yes. You're just going to so she's going to tell you, she's going to put it on you, then tell you what you're going to wear. That is
more accurate.
Yes. That is the correct. Hey, I want to give a shout out to NYC, who is here. NYC here. Welcome. Good to see you back, NYC. I remember you from previous shows. I'm glad that you're back to be with us. And if you're with us, make sure you let us know where you're from. And it's always kind of fun to kind of see where people are from. All right, cool. Well, you know what? Why don't we do this? Ashley is, I'm sure she's en route. She's on her way. I think but whether the show will go on. And Ashley, we miss you, and we'll see you next time around. But let's do this. I got a couple of some news I want to hit, and maybe we can kind of we may be able to kind of expand this a little bit more. Let's kind of hit the news that I'm going to cover with you. So Maui vacation rentals, are they going? Heidi, I don't want to hear what you think about this. So there's a story here that the Maui County Council is taking up a bill phasing out vacation rentals this summer. So that was the headline. Mayor Richard Bisson's plan to convert thousands of temporary vacation rentals into long-term housing for locals may start moving forward again. So that is going to be interesting what's going to happen about that. And there's another, of course, it's a follow-on story with that, which is great, which is about, there's Ashley. Welcome back, Ashley. So there's another famous story that's going on right now about the, not famous story, The Economist, the University of Hawaii Economic Research Organization has put out that, hey, you guys pull this off, be prepared for some big economic shocks. And, the recent headlines were all becoming maybe desensitized to economic shocks. But they're saying that, hey, be careful. You could lose, thousands of jobs and billions in annual visitor revenue if you go through with this. So there's like the warning shot across the bow, which will be interesting to kind of see how people take that out. So that's that. Another story, which is no surprise to parents in Hawaii, or that kids cost the most in Hawaii. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Yeah, Hawaii is like the most expensive place to live in the world, and therefore raising a child, here's the number. The cost, I gotta send this to my daughters. The cost of raising a child in Hawaii surges to $362,000, the most expensive in the US. Raising a child now costs that much for the first 18 years, over an 18-year period. And it was really kind of funny. A long time ago, I remember our financial planner told us, he goes, well, you can send your kids to private school or you can have a ranch. It's up to you. And we took the private school route, but that was a good decision. Anyway, jaywalking. Did you know that jaywalking in Hawaii is illegal? Yeah, it is. And you could be arrested for jaywalking. So anyway, what they're doing right now is I thought that was kind of interesting. Most people don't really know about that in Hawaii, about Hawaii's laws. But they're trying to put together a law now through the legislature where any place but Oahu that jaywalking will not be a crime. So there's a great relief in case you worry about getting arrested for jaywalking. Yeah, watch over. I remember when I first moved here, I was a kid from Chicago, and I thought it was like everyone was like so dumb for waiting at the lights in Chicago. We don't wait. We just run at any time across the street. And that was kind of one of my first figure out how to live in Hawaii things, which was interesting. Speaking of coming back to Hawaii, locals are coming back. So there's a story here that the Hawaii's population has been rebounding thanks to locals returning home, which is interesting. So there was year over year, there was declines. People were leaving the state in droves, thousands every year. Looks like this is starting perhaps to turn around. It is an interesting reversal from like around 2023. So looks like locals are coming back home. And, it's I only have empirical data, but my daughter who left quite a few years ago is like, Dad, this is the place. I want to come back. So could very well be. And then finally, we got some Kilauea. I got a picture here I want to share with you guys. We've got some fireworks from Kilauea, 700 feet high. Man, I wish I could. That was a photo from the U.S. Geological Society or whatever, the government, federal government. That's an incredible, that looks like an oil painting, actually, if you look at that shot, but that's a 700-foot high sky fireworks. So that's it for today on the news. Let's kind of roll around to our friends over here and let's get let's see, what's the slide I want to show over here. We're going to get some market updates, talk a little bit about what's happening in the individuals, and I want to get some news from everybody. And let's see, Net NYC is giving us a part-time Kauai. All right. And that's exactly it. So not jaywalking in New York City is a crime. Exactly. You just run. I remember this one time. Right, Heidi? I remember this one time. Never forget this. I was in Chicago visiting family or something, and I'm driving down one of the busiest business streets, Wacker Drive. I'm flying down Wacker Drive. And of course, in Chicago, you go as fast as you can at any one moment. So I'm flying down this street. The lights are all green in my favor. And as I'm driving down at a pretty high clip, and it's kind of stormy weather, not a good condition for it to be in an automobile, people are running across the street, like right in front of me, like some sort of video game Death Race 2000 kind of move. And I'm like, man, this is Chicago. No one cares. So anyway.
I just did a quick search, and I've heard this before. Have you guys heard this before? That like Hawaii has the highest per capita pedestrian death rate. Like more people die getting hit by cars here than anywhere else. I remember seeing this.
I did not know that. I'm not surprised, but because
and I think that's probably why it's illegal. Because I mean, for whatever reason, people don't stop. If you're running across the road, you're gonna get hit. So,
well, it's funny because I mean, you would think, here's, it's like one of these, unintended consequences things, right? But wait a minute. Jaywalking is illegal. Therefore, nobody jaywalks. Therefore, why do we have the highest rate of pedestrian deaths? Right? Please make sense of that to me. It's kind of funny. I don't know. I can tell you.
It's just like how we have the strictest gun laws in the country, but then we have like the lowest gun violence rates ever. So it's I don't know.
It's one of those things, man. It's the law of unintended consequences. Speaking of unintended consequences, Ashley is with us. Hey, Ashley, welcome. How is so? Give us your Oahu update this morning. It's been it's blustery here on the east side of the island. What's Kailua got to be like right now?
Kailua is also been really cold at night, so it's been nice. It's actually a perfect day, I would say. It's not hot, it's not cold, it's not windy, or it's a little bit windy, but it's just like that nice, perfect in between. I know we're going to be expecting some hot weather here soon, so I'm going to enjoy this perfect in between.
Enjoy the perfect in between while it lasts, right? And speaking of perfect, Bob is perfectly here back with us. Bob, welcome back. Bob Carl is from the Hawaii Peninsula. Bob, how are you doing? How was your morning? We were normally my wife and I now do a morning beach walk, but today we're like, not we don't, it's kind of rainy, kind of windy. It was rainy and blustery this morning. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna stay in bed. The easy alternative.
I just fact checked myself with Gemini over here, and we're 13th in the country, 13th highest death rate per capita for pedestrians, 2.4 per 100,000.
Okay, so we're number 13. Number 13. So
pretty high.
Pretty. Well, look. I mean, it is kind of odd. I mean, it is kind of a weird thing that pedestrians in Hawaii. It does happen often. It's kind of that's a cultural thing that we should look into, Dylan, and figure out. All right, next slide, please. Let's move on. So we're going to hit some market updates, and we're going to have. There's a fun topic that Dylan's going to talk about as well. So why don't we do this? Let's do the market updates. And Ashley, since no good deed goes unpunished, so why don't you start us off? Give us what's going on with the Oahu market and how things are coming along over there.
Good morning. Okay, so single family homes prices did jump up a little bit to 1.8 to 19 million on average. That's largely due to a high profile sale in Kahala though. So Kahala is on the east side of Oahu, and it is a staple marker for higher end homes on the island. So without that sale though, the average did not go up too much. It stayed around 1.5 million, 507 to be exact, for the median price range. So not a whole lot changed there without that sale. Condos actually saw a rise overall on average prices. It went up 6.1%. So that average price point is now around 614,000. Overall, slightly fewer sales because we're kind of going over that whole quarter update for the first quarter of the year. Slightly less sales compared to 2024, 4% lower. And then the condo sales were almost identical. So flat, a 0.4% change in that. And then there was actually, surprisingly, single family homes sold a lot quicker. So with an average of 15 days on market, that's compared to 31 days last year. Condos, however, did take longer with an average of 40 days. So sort of what we've been saying. The only surprising aspect of that is the condo market has really, at least here on Oahu, had a nice comeback in this whole quarter overall review.
Do you have any sense of an explanation as to what I mean? That's a pretty interesting jump in condo prices. Do you think maybe it's just like the transience of maybe an expensive condo like the Kahala house, an expensive condo or two going on the market, or are you sensing some kind of a wider trend, Ashley?
I just think that I think there's always a hype of news, and then it shocks the market temporarily. And then I think things will start to normalize and stabilize moving forward. Condos are a great entry point to get into the market. And once people just sort of understood that the condo prices and insurances were going to be a variable that they had to just be prepared for, I think they felt more comfortable just moving forward. Also, feel like all the associations are sort of gathering their bearings on what expectations to give to buyers regarding upcoming fees and dues and insurance policies. And there's just a lot more information available now that didn't really exist at the end of last year. So knowledge is power. People just feel once they have the information empowered to make decisions. But who knows? Maybe there's a bigger picture out there. I don't know.
There may be a bigger picture, but it's not exactly obvious. But there could be. Yeah, it's always a variety of factors. It's always complicated, right? There's no any like one thing, right? It's always a collection of factors. Maybe there's some stabilization now that people are getting accustomed to the new insurance rates or the or the condos are, like you said, they're getting their act together, and so things are kind of stabilizing, and there are higher prices, and people are deciding it's okay. God only knows. And speaking of God only knowing, I know that Rich is with us. Rich, welcome from Minnesota. Good to see you. I believe that your name is familiar to me. I believe that you're back and returning with us. And if the rest of you, if you're here, if you haven't said hello, say hello. Give us an idea of where you're from. It's always kind of fun to see where people are coming to see the show. So Heidi, give us the update. What's going on Maui? What's Maui's market like? Is that condo? You saw that story about the condo short-term vacation rentals maybe going through, maybe not. The economists are trying to scare everybody to let them know that, hey, big hit to the economy. If you felt any of this, what's happening with Maui's market?
Yeah, I'll talk about some of the big trends and what I'm seeing. I mean, the news article that you mentioned about vacation rental regulation, I mean, it's really old news in a way. I mean, this was a proposal by our mayor in May of 2024. It has yet to be decided by the county council. The most recent news is the University of Hawaii Economic Research Organization came out with a report basically stating the obvious. I mean, if they phase out 6,000 to 7,000 vacation rentals in our small community, I mean, that's definitely going to have economic impacts, loss of jobs. The economy will contract. Maui County will lose, I mean, a lot of its tax base. I mean, a lot of the county budget is funded through taxes on vacation rentals. So there were some more news articles coming out talking about that recent information. And I mean, just this uncertainty has been affecting our market. I mean, for the last year, I mean, there's a lower number of sales, especially for vacation rental condos. I mean, prices have softened in a lot of cases, depending on the area. So we're hoping to get some clarity. It's sounding like maybe by end of June, the council will make some kind of decision. So it's to be seen. But it is a good time for buyers right now in our market. I mean, for both condos and single family homes, there's more inventory than we've seen in the last few years or so. So buyers have more choices. Sellers are getting more willing to negotiate in some cases. I don't think the market's tanking. I don't think prices are, going way down, but it's become a more balanced market for buyers and sellers. And there's definitely some good opportunities out there. So for a buyer who's looking to get in the market long term, I think it's a great time right now.
Great time to buy. You've got because certainly if you're looking to buy a home and you're not really too concerned about the vacation rental status of it or not, finding one of those condos that are sort of, that people are not unsure about, you're going to certainly have some softening. You got a good position, right, Heidi? You're in a good position to kind of make an offer that you're going to be in a stronger position than you normally would be. Would you say that? Is that correct, basically?
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see what happens, because if the county council gives us some more direction on what their plans are, that could change the market too. So everybody's kind of waiting and watching. So we'll see what happens. It's extremely unlikely that a major phase out is going to happen this year or anytime soon. I mean, there's probably the political appetite for some change, but it would be pretty dramatic to go through with what the original proposal was last year, and I don't think the timing of that's going to be in the next few months. So.
Well, and plus too, Maui's been through so much. I mean, with the Lahaina fire and the massive disruption that's caused. I mean, I'm just surprised that Maui's even kind of halfway functioning. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that's all going to play out. That was the interesting thing that we can all kind of maybe reflect on, is that, it seems that what's most important for people is just some degree of predictability. It's when things are unpredictable, that's what markets don't like. If I know that If I know that vacation rentals are going to be gone, okay, fine. If I know they're going to be in, okay, fine. But 1 week to the next, is it the tariff on or is it the tariff off? Are we friends or are we enemy? Are we, is it 20% or is it 0%? Is the vacation rentals in or are they out? What's happening? That instability actually is what causes opportunity, right? Because if you're ready, this is a good time. It's a good time to buy a condo on Maui. All right. Rant/rant over. Dylan, what's up? Give us the Big Island update, and let's talk about that. Well, once you've got that, we can talk about the other story. What's happening on the Big Island?
Yeah, so the headline is, and I don't want to use too much jargon, but months of inventory. So months of inventory is a measurement in the real estate market of if the number of sales that happen in a month, if no new homes came on the market or no new properties came on the market, how many months would it take for all of the current inventory to sell? And so it's basically what's currently on the market divided by the number of sales that happen month over month. And the big headline here is that for the first time since October of 2020, the Big Island has more than 6 months of inventory. And that measurement tells us that we are into a buyer's market. So even though the market has been slow, we've been talking about this for months and months and months, and actually years now, where the market has slowed down since interest rates went up, we were still in a sub 6 months of inventory market, which technically is a seller's market. So less than 6 months seller's market, more than 6 months of buyer's market, and we're currently at 6.4%. And the last time it was above 6% was October of 2020. It's been a very, very long time. So inventory has continually steadily risen on the island. We're up to almost 2,400, 2,399 is where we're at in terms of number of properties on the market. But as I always go back to pre-COVID, that number was 3,500, 4,000 normally. So we're still low in terms of historical perspectives. But that's the big headline, is we're officially into a buyer's market here on the Big Island. But to put that in context, if you break that down by property type, the residential market is still at 5.2%. So residential homes is still under the 6 month threshold, but everything else, condos, land, businesses, multifamily, all that stuff is above, is far. Some of them are really far above 6 months. The commercial property is at 22 months of inventory. So that's a shift. That's an official shift. We've been slow to get here, but and the ladies probably can comment too. I mean, this is somewhat of a statewide trend. I looked at the statewide stats the other day, and pretty much everywhere. I think Oahu is just under 6 still yet, but the Maui condo market is like 11 months of inventory. It's crazy how much inventory there is versus sales. So,
like I said, it's a great time to shop for a condo and buy. I mean, I go and look at all the new listings every week at our broker Caravan, and this past week I was just thinking, wow, there are some really nice properties on the market over here. So yeah, I mean, sometimes with uncertainty, it brings opportunity as well.
That's right. That's exactly right. Uncertain, these things bring opportunity. Boy, and we need to do like a virtual caravan, like diamonds and deals, like a caravan of diamonds and deals. Like you guys could, I don't know if you guys are up for it, but let's pick out like a bunch. It's like, okay, this is it. Let's do this, because it looks like there is an emerging, so Dylan, again, I mean, the earlier thing is like, again, there's a million different factors, always, always the case. So you can't easily point to any one thing. Is there anything that you're sensing, Dylan, that is the result of this? Is it anything you want to comment on? You have any ideas, or just like it's just the natural flow of things? There's a million things, and I can't tell you any one thing.
No, I think part of it is just the natural progression of, because the number of sales has fallen so significantly, right? For perspective sake, we had like 7,500 sales in 2021 on the island. Last year, there was just above 4,000. So significant decrease in the number of sales. And inventory has just taken a long time to catch up. So inventory continues to rise incrementally. I mean, 100 a month. It's very, very slow. But because number of sales have remained kind of at that lower level, that around 400 level. And that's another interesting stat, is we were at 401 sales last month. The last time we were above 400 sales was in July of last year. So we've been sub 400 sales every month since July. So overall, we're tracking to do about the same amount, low 4,000s in terms of sales like we did in 2024. So as inventory continues to come back on the market, it's just going to make sense that balance is going to come back into effect, like all markets do, right? If sales are down and people and supply continues to increase at a normal rate, you're just going to get into that balance of a 6 month or balanced market, which is where we're at right now.
Okay, interesting. So again, the headline here is there are some opportunities. There is kind of some this make use of this this
And
time
like,
in the market.
yeah, like Heidi said, I mean, I got a call from an investor friend the other day that said, "Hey, what's the condo market doing?" And I broke it down for him. He said, "Okay, I think I'm going to buy one. It's a good time." Right? I mean, that's what they're thinking. Like, there's opportunity right now, and it hasn't been a good time
That's
to
right.
buy, especially like a more higher end luxury condo in the resort areas. That stuff is really sitting around right now, and you can get some good deals. And
Mm.
I was just looking at a couple of units for them, and people are selling them for less than they bought them for, a year and a half ago. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
There you go. There you go. And speaking of opportunities, let me take this opportunity to say hi to Judy. Judy is back with us. Hey, Judy. Judy is one of the founding members of the Islander Ohana, and Judy is a pillar working with Dylan now and helping us out. So, Judy, good to see you. Welcome back. Excellent. All right, so we got this thing. So at great risk, we're going to see if we can do some somewhat inside baseball, but tell you what it means. I was talking to Dylan, and this headline came up: Zillow prohibiting listings that are privately marketed. And Dylan says, "Let's talk about this." I'm like, "Why should we? What the hell does it matter to me as the buyer?" But apparently, there is major stuff going on. This does, if you are looking for a home. If you're looking to, use searching like Zillow to do your home buying, you may be adversely affected. There are some potentially big stuff on the horizon, and so we're going to have this discussion and talk about what exactly is happening. But before we do that, in advance, I'm going to apologize to Dylan and to Heidi and to Ashley, because I am going to do my best, because I got ADD, like, my eyes roll back into their sockets really, really quickly. This has the risk of going, deep into the weeds of realtor speak, which buyers don't care about. But there is something about buyers that will care about this. So apologies in advance. I'm going to do my best to keep you guys on focus, to kind of keep this. I'm going to represent the selfish perspective of the buyer who's like, why should I care? Dylan, why should I care about this headline that is coming up about Zillow prohibiting listing? I don't even know what a privately marketed listing means, and I don't care. Tell me why this is important. Why should I care, Dylan?
So let me start with a big picture perspective on how real estate works in the world, because us as Americans, we take for granted, I think, the way our systems work, and we assume everybody does it the same way. And so in America, we have multiple listing services, right? When you list your property with a realtor, we put it on a multiple listing service. Those services give a data feed to portals like Zillow and Redfin and Trulia and Homes.com and all of these different places, and all of our individual brokerage websites, right? You can see every listing available on the market on any website pretty much out there. In other countries, especially European countries, there is no system like that. And so basically, if you list your property with a brokerage, like, you can see it on their website, and then the brokerage will pay a very high fee to put it on certain portals that they work with. And so it's not on everything everywhere. So you may have to go to 7 different websites, 10 different websites to see all of the different inventory that's out there. And so that definitely affects you as a buyer, right? You don't have like an easily searchable one-stop shop to see everything that's available to you. But it also affects you as a seller, because as a seller, it depends who you choose to market your property and who is going to actually see it, because there's no guaranteed way to get it exposed to the entire market of buyers that are out there. And so it's a fundamental.
So really quick,
cornerstone.
quick, just to kind of, for a moment, just to make sure I'm seeing this right. What you're saying is that, look, in like Europe right now, the situation is when you list a home, you're going to list with a broker, and it's going to show up on that broker's website. And if you want it to show up on other websites, someone's got to pay to have the property listed on those other websites. That's kind of the way it is in Europe. Whereas in the US, what it is right now is when you list it through a realtor, it goes in the system called the MLS, the multiple listing service. You pop it in, the realtor will pop it into that. And because of the conventions over the years, MLS feeds that data to all the other websites, which is why a website that's listed through a realtor shows up suddenly on Trulia, Zillow, everywhere else, because of this data feed of MLS. Have I got this right so far?
Perfect. Yep.
Got it. So what's happening?
So there's a rule that governs this, that makes this happen, and it's called the Clear Cooperation Policy that the National Association of Realtors has. And so we all adhere to this. And what this rule tells us to do is that if we're going to publicly market a property, we must put it in the MLS within 1 business day, right? So if we put a sign in the yard, we do an email blast, we put it on our website or whatever it is, we have to put it in the MLS, right? Because it creates clear cooperation. Everybody can see everything, right?
So if it's public, so in other words, if it's public, it's public. If it's public, it's public. If you post it on, go ahead.
That doesn't prevent us, and many brokerages have a private listing network where there's certain situations where somebody doesn't want their listing to be public, right? They're a celebrity, they're a federal judge. I mean, they have renters that are hostile and they don't want, have to show the home and stuff like that. There are situations, and Heidi and Ashley and I deal with this all the time, where somebody will come to us and say, hey, I'm in a tough spot, or I cannot, market this thing. Can you go find me a buyer? That really severely limits their exposure to the market, but they come to us because they know we have a large network of buyers and we work with lots of folks. We have a big database.
They want that. They want that privacy, right?
So basically, specific situations where it makes sense to privately market. Yeah.
Right. So, but okay. So you got basically, hey, look, if you're essentially, if you're going to post your home on Facebook Marketplace, if the realtor's going to, if a realtor is going to post the home on Facebook Marketplace, it's got to go on the MLS. It's got to go kind of everywhere. If it's private is private. Doesn't show, but private by definition is not going to show up anywhere, right? That's
correct.
Basically.
And we are prohibited from publicly marketing that listing outside of.
And you're prohibited. You can't go public, right? You can't, because we don't want, because I, the buyer, don't want you. Okay, great, got it. So how does it all fly into this thing now?
Okay, so all of that being said, right now we get into the inside baseball and this news story. Is you can imagine how there's a push in the industry, and primarily it's Compass's CEO that wants to get rid of clear cooperation. They want to get rid of this rule and be able to privately market their properties to their people and publicly, but not have to expose it to the MLS or everyone else. And there's
now you said, so you said Compass CEO. Who's Compass?
He's Compass is one of the largest brokerages in America. Robert Refkin is their CEO. So they're
okay.
a large, they're probably like 2 or 3 in the state in terms of transactions and volume
in the country. So
yep.
So Compass now, they're the ones that want to do what? They want to start doing things privately?
Yeah, they want no restriction on what they can do and how they can market. They want to be able to privately market to their people, put a sign in the yard, market it publicly, but only have so what they do is they want to be able to put a sign in the yard and tell you must go to compass.com to see the listing. You cannot go anywhere else, or you're not going to be able to see it on any other brokerage.
They want to break the private rule. They want to say this is going to be, it's not public, but it's not exactly public, but it's not private either. It's sort of, it's us only. It's basically the European model, right? You're gonna list it with us, and you're gonna go to our broker's website. Okay, got it.
You gotta come to us to get all the information. Yep, you're not gonna be able to go to some public website. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, all right, great.
Okay, so now we're there.
Got it.
So now it gets us to the news story, where Zillow and all of the portals, as you can imagine, their value proposition would be severely degraded if this was the case, right? And they didn't have the ability to put everything that's in the market on their websites. And so they're taking a clear stance and saying, if you're going to do this, right, if you're a brokerage and you want to do this and you want to privately market your listing for, say, 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever, before, and then you decide, that didn't work out, I'm going to put it on the public MLS and I want it to go on all the portals. Zillow is saying we will not publish that listing. We will, if you want to take advantage of this and kind of straddle the fence and try and market it privately and then market it publicly, we are going to exclude that listing from our website, which poses a very interesting question for the advocates of this as to, does it make sense to continue to go in this direction? And it draws a clear line in the sand amongst people are going to have to pick a side, right? Are you on the side of clear cooperation and everybody gets to see everything? Or are you on the side? Because it's not just Compass. There's plenty of other brokerages in the country that are kind of leaning towards that, creating private networks, preparing for this. They're not sure what's going to happen, but it would completely upend the way that we as a consumer go and shop for real estate. And this is why it matters to buyers and sellers, is you really have to think about, is this best for your interests in terms of when you want to be a buyer, when you want to be a seller? And it also matters who you pick. What business are you picking to list your property with or buy a property through? Because the big players in the industry are going to have a say in how this all plays out, and it's going to have an impact in the future on the industry as a whole. If this changes, it would dramatically change the way home buying works in America.
Okay, so the dumb home buyer me looks at this and says, "This is like suicide. This is like the dumbest thing you could ever do as Compass?" Because I didn't even know who Compass was. I don't know who Compass is, and I don't care who Compass is. And when I do Google searches, right? I do Google searches, right? I may not even know about Zillow, but okay, let's say if I've done 5 minutes of real estate research, Zillow pops up everywhere. So I'm going to go to Zillow. Zillow's my default search engine, right? I got my profiles in Zillow. I got my searches all in Zillow. And all of a sudden, Compass is saying, no, we're not going to, and Zillow's saying, okay, fine, you're out. And so now, why on earth would Compass or brokerages want to do that? What's their logic?
It's a gamble. I mean, it's a play to say we can corner the market and tell buyers, you must work with us if you want to see the listings that we have. You have to sign up with us. And so it's advantageous. And let's be very clear about this. It's advantageous to all of the large brokerages, right? I mean, my brokerage is number one in the country in terms of number of sales. That would be hugely beneficial to us to create a walled garden around all of our listings and tell buyers they have to work with us to see the listings. But it's not what's best for consumers. And it would basically put all of the small brokerages in the country out of business. If you run a 10-person mom and pop shop in your local community and you don't have access, the buyers that you work with don't have access to all of the listings, they're never going to come to you. They're going to go to one of the big brokerages that have a large concentration of listings to work with. So again, it would fundamentally change the way that the real estate industry works. And that's the play, is that, we can consolidate. These small operations are going to have to make a decision and say, I'm going to have to join up with one of the big boys in order to continue to be able to operate and have access to inventory. And it'll be chaos. I mean,
the irony of all of this is that NAR, we just had this massive lawsuit about transparency regarding compensation for consumer protection, and nothing has really changed, because I just had a call with the seller yesterday saying, okay, I know the loss has changed with NAR. What does compensation look like? And I said, well, this is my compensation for a listing. As far as what you want to offer to a buyer's agent or anything at all, that's up to you. And he said, well, what if I don't? And I said, I went over the pros and cons. Well, the buyer's agent has an agreement with the buyer. The buyer might not have the funds to pay them, and so they will often pass on the property. And he's like, well, I want to compensate them, market that. So nothing has changed, because it did not actually protect the consumer to be transparent about this. It just added another layer of conversation with the client. So maybe they better understand it, and that's great. This is not protecting the consumer. This is wild. This is going back in time. And granted, there is a lot of laws and there's a lot of ropes around residential real estate. That's one of the fun things about commercial real estate, is they call it Wild West, right? This exact thing occurs in commercial real estate. There is a platform that you can go to find commercial assets, but say you only have 10 listings populate for that company on their platform per brokerage. Often they don't have any of their listings marketed on there. It's very under the table, belly to belly conversations. It's who you know. Doing that into residential, that's what it used to be like, 40 years ago. It's grown and evolved to protect the consumer. I cannot imagine that we would backtrack, especially after the big loss that we had just around compensation. It's wild.
I just can't get around the fact that this is like suicide, because no one cares about Compass, and I can't, unless, and I'm going to guess that Compass's search engine is not even remotely close to how good Zillow's is. But I want to get some of everyone's take. So Heidi, how are you seeing this? Obviously you've been hearing about this news before the show. What's your take on what this is all about, or how it's going to affect things, or why should I care as a buyer?
Well, I think more information is better for both buyers and sellers. And I mean, as a seller, you want your property exposed to as many people as possible, as many agents as possible. because the goal is to sell the property for the highest and best price. For buyers, buyers can make more informed decisions if they have a clearer view of what all the listings are on the market. What are things selling for? I mean, more information is better for both buyers and sellers. But a comment I did want to make, though, is different agents and different brokerages do actually, I mean, MLS will syndicate your listing to a number of sites, but I mean, there's a number of marketing channels and sites where, I pay to syndicate my listing and somebody at another brokerage might not be advertising there. And I mean, there are some differences between brokerages and agents on what the individual broker or agent is going to do to advertise and market your property. I mean, it's not just Zillow, it's not just the MLS sites. There's tons of other sites and international exposure and things that places you can market your property that are not just automatic. And that is a value add. And it's something that, as a seller, you should be talking to your agent about, depending on what the marketing needs are. But overall, anyway, I've just been watching the news. I mean, I think, of course, brokerages, are looking to be what's driving this, I think, is just the brokerage wanting to be more powerful and, make more money. That's what I think. But I'm a proponent of just more information for everyone. I just think it's better for the market, better for buyers and sellers.
Look, there's got to be some other angle here that I'm not seeing, because you've got to be an idiot to take your listings off of Zillow. It's kind of like saying, I don't want to show up on Google search results anymore. I want people to kind of people to go to my website to look up content about Hawaii. I'm going to take it, and therefore I'm going to tell Google I don't want to show up on Google search results. I mean, I maybe Zillow's not that popular, but I don't think so. Dylan, do you have any idea? There's got to be some other strategic reason. Compass, whoever they are, first time I'm hearing them, they're not stupid. They're a big brokerage. I can't believe that someone's saying, yeah, let's get away from Zillow and do our own listings and drive people to come to our website. I just can't. I don't see the logic there. What am I missing, Dylan?
Well, I think, first of all, let's put this into perspective. This is Zillow taking a stand and saying, we're not going to support this. Right. So and it's going to put pressure on anyone who does want to do it this way, because they're going to have to make a decision. So that's the big news here, right? Is there's a line in the sand. You're going to have to choose a side here. They're not going to let you straddle the fence.
Zillow is saying, right? Zillow who's saying, if you do this, we're taking you off. It's not like Compass is dissing Zillow directly. I get it. Zillow saying, okay, you guys want to do that, you go right ahead, but then you're out.
There's going to be consequences.
We're not talking to you. There's going to be consequences.
There's going to be consequences. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So
is Zillow going bankrupt still? Is that false news?
They're
not Zillow,
never.
Compass. I'm sorry, not Zillow. Compass. Is Compass still? I don't know if that's actually false news.
Since you brought it up,
I'm not talking, and that's a genuine question because I don't actually follow that. Like maybe I should. I'm not trying to. I do not. I don't care.
But back to Peter's question about, like, is there some strategic purpose behind all of this, right? There's speculation that this is the push to get rid of Clear Cooperation and do this as a strategy is just a Hail Mary, because, I mean, right now, Compass is $250 million in debt. They lose $130 million a year. So there has to be at some point, and anybody who watches the Inside Baseball or real estate, they've raised tons of venture capital. I think they've lost over $1 billion total in the course of because their growth strategy has been buying agents and buying brokerages. So it hasn't been like an attraction strategy. It's been more an acquisition strategy. And so at some point you got to do something dramatic to either right the ship and make it profitable, or just completely burn it down all the way, right? So that's like the insider baseball speculation of why they're taking such a different stand on this than most of the industry is. So we'll see. That's just my opinion and speculation, but.
Okay, so here's a guy that knows nothing about the industry. I just learned about Compass right now and just heard this for the first time, basically. Here's my prediction. Now, let's see if and I'll go out on a limb because I'm kind of inconsequential. I say this is like the death knell for Compass. They're toast. They're done. And I think that everyone's going to cave into Zillow because no one's going to go up against Zillow and say, yeah, forget Zillow. We're going to take all of our properties off of Zillow. There's no way, unless someone like Google says, no problem. Google, by the way, we're rolling out our new killer AI powered real estate search engine. Your real estate listings are good with us. You're all good, and you can do whatever you want to do, blah, blah, blah. In other words, if Google someone like a Google comes up to and says, we're better than Zillow, and here's why. In that case, you're going to hear a giant sucking sound out of Zillow and into Google, because Zillow is basically making life really difficult for agents for a bunch of reasons that we don't need to go into. But my prediction is this. Compass is going to cave, and Compass is done. Compass is going to cave, and they're done. This is their death knell. It's not their Hail Mary, their death knell. They're
Or
done.
they just got to give up on their private network plans, and then things go back to normal, and everything will be okay. So
And we have
Right,
a
but-
lot of
but
friends
they're
at
losing
Compass
millions.
and agents and individuals. Like, just a disclaimer, like, we are not doshing. We've got a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
friends here. There's amazing agents like across
Yeah.
the island. So
this is
I'm
just
sure
financial.
they're
This is just
awesome.
financial data that's publicly available because they're all publicly traded
Look,
companies. So
Actually,
yeah.
my statements are my statements alone. They do not reflect your opinions or anybody else's. So you guys are in the clear. It's me. I'm just telling you that Compass is done. If they're losing millions, hundreds of millions, and they're like in the red big time, and this is their Hail Mary, they're done. Watch. We'll see. But you know what? Let's move on. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Let's move on. All right. Let's do this. You know what? We took a fair amount of time with this, which is good. It's part of the fun. Let's do diamonds and deals. Let's just shift into some cool properties that we think are worth looking at. And diamonds, deals, both. Never neither. But let's talk about this first one. Is this yours, Heidi, in Kula, Maui? Wow.
Yes. So this is a home on 1.5 acres, and you can actually walk to Kula Elementary School and the Waldorf School. So, what a beautiful location up country. You have new PV photovoltaic, bi-coastal views. There's a bocce ball court. This home was built in 2020. It's 2 bedrooms. You also have an egg storage room, extra space, garage, and citrus trees. Just gorgeous property for 185 upcountry on Maui.
Man.
So it's a
this is
diamond and a
cool.
deal.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I would agree. Man, I love that. What does bi-coastal views mean, Heidi? What does that mean?
So when you're up country, you can actually see like the west shore and the north shore from certain viewpoints. So really stunning views, looking all the way down the land and out to the ocean.
That bi-coastal views, that is a unique thing to islands, right? You can't have a bi-coastal view if you're living on the mainland. You can't see the East Coast and the West Coast at the same time. I suppose maybe if you're on the tip of, I suppose maybe if you're living in some place in the Florida Keys, I suppose you're looking at, I don't know, the Atlantic and the Gulf of America, but it's a uniquely island thing. Very, very cool. That's an amazing property. The price doesn't seem that bad, but I'm sure it's market value for what's going on in Kula. Very, very cool. Thank you, Heidi. I love that rock wall. Her rock walls are so cool. And that's like a Hawaiian, for some reason, that Hawaiian stone rock wall is sticking out at me for some reason. It's calling out to me. It's calling out to me, Heidi. It's calling out to me. All right. Speaking of calling up, we're going to skip this Princeville one over here. And Kailua, what do we got here? What are we looking at, Ashley?
This is my girlfriend's listing, Shereen Duncan, and I saw this home. I loved it. In fact, I forgot to put the photo I wanted, which is this outdoor wet bar. And it's so fun. It's this large covered lanai off of a large, over 12,000 square foot lot. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. And then they have these picturesque windows off the living room and the bedroom that look over the Ko'olau mountain range. So everywhere you look, you just see like tropical foliage and mountains, and it's stunning. And these massive ceilings. I think there were like 23 foot ceilings, this beautiful handcrafted spiral staircase that goes upstairs. It's not a 9 bedroom, it's a 4 bedroom, and it's at not 2.7, but at 2.25. Those are
already got a discount. We already got discounted, right? Discounted as we speak. There you go.
So those specs are not correct, but the address is. 2.25, and it's super killer. So I love it. I live in this area, or I live in Kailua, not in Monowili, but Monowili has waterfall hikes close by, big mountain peak hikes close by. It's so stunning. It's right off of the Pali Highway, so it's 10-15 minutes to get into Honolulu, Kaneohe. It's a really nice location.
Great. And so on this one, is it you said it's how many bedrooms again? It's how many
4
bedrooms?
bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. So those specs are from
Okay.
that oceanfront I showed last show, and it's at
I got it.
2.25.
Got it.
But it's a 12,500 square foot lot, so it's a nice for Oahu standards. I know Heidi just showed us a acre and a half, and I'm sure Dylan's about to show us 200 acres for like 500,000. But our whopping 12,500 square foot lots here in Kailua is a good deal.
It's a good deal, but we got to get those facts straight. So I can't keep all those numbers in my head, but it looks like a
4
beautiful
bedroom,
house.
3.5 bath.
4 bedroom, 3.5 bath. 2.2.
2.25.
2.25. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Monowili's got, I think that's one of the funnest hikes. And I know what's happened to it recently. It's gotten overcrowded with Instagram. Instagram has ruined a whole lot of like really cool places in Hawaii, places that used to be like, no one would go there. Now we have everyone going there and they're all taking selfies. But Monowili is one of my favorite hikes. We really enjoyed going there a bunch of times. Cool. Thank you.
It is
Thank
still
you.
under construction. I think the Monowili waterfall hike, I think, is open or set to open this year, if I'm not mistaken. But I have to look that up. I'm trying to Google it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have. We went years ago. So, well, hopefully they're going to fix the parking situation, because that was a huge problem. People were parking all over the place in residential areas, blocking driveways. Really, not a good thing.
But not close to this house.
Not close to this house. Not close to this house. All right, cool. Excellent. All right, let's see. What's the 500 acre for $500,000 properties Dylan's got for us? Just kidding, Dylan. What are we looking at today? What are we looking
No,
at?
I just picked a deal out because we're always doing like nice luxury stuff. But this is if you want a very functional 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, kind of in the right next to downtown. You kind of see the picture there where it's located near the ocean, and then Kailua is just like a mile away. But this is a Li'ilani. It's got a great outdoor kind of area. So even though the condo is like just under 800 square feet, you got this big space outside that's covered, and that's kind of like your dining room and living area, and you can have a small garden. Ground floor, just nicely upgraded. Actually, this one comes furnished, so if you just want to bring your suitcase, most of the stuff is already there. But super good deal, and you can get into a really nice condo for under 500,000 here. Got lots of space, and you can walk right onto Aloha Drive. Lots of people walk on Aloha Drive for their morning walks, and just great value. And $805 is an HOA. There's 2 pools in the complex. The grounds is very nicely maintained. So if you needed a second home, you cannot vacation rent these. These are residential. So that's also advantageous if you want to live here, because you don't have neighbors coming and going all the time and random folks. You know who your neighbors are, and so there's a I think it's a 30-day minimum rental here. So no short term. It might even be longer, but yeah, no short term rentals in the complex. But great value.
Thank you for preempting the question I was going to ask you about the status of vacation rental. So this would be a great, okay, here's one of these great condos that we're talking about, right? You get a nice condo, 2 pools. That's I'd say that's a low, I don't know, you guys would know, but it's comes across to me as a relatively low.
It's one
HOA
of the
fee.
lowest. Yeah, it's one of the lowest HOAs. Yeah.
Okay. Right. I was right about that. Okay.
And they're kind of like townhome style, right? It's not like a big concrete building. It's like your parking is right outside. There's 6 units to a building, 3 downstairs and 3 upstairs. So it's kind of like a little neighborhood. You can see from the aerial photo there. And it's the one all the way on the edge, actually at the bottom edge there. So you're not kind of in the middle of all the action.
Right. Okay. So thanks. That area down below, that's the whole development area. That's the whole Li'ilani place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's not all those buildings for $479.
No. It's one building. It's one unit in one building. I just want to give you perspective on where it's at and what the community looks like.
Now that would be a big island deal.
All those, yes, there you go. All those buildings.
I'll take 2.
Yours. Yeah. But the downside, Heidi, is that all those buildings add up to only 2 bedrooms. I don't know where everything else is going on in all those buildings, but Oh, okay. We
Just
kid, we
hitting
kid,
zoning
we
stuff.
kid.
Don't worry
Oh,
about it.
and two parking stalls. And two parking
Two
stalls.
parking
That's a big
stalls.
one.
Okay.
Two parking stalls.
That
Because
is a
it's a
big one.
residential, so they understand, most households are going to have two cars. So, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Sounds great. Cool. Awesome. All right. Hey, let's see. You know what? Let's do this. Let's just kind of round this up. If you've got any questions for us, let us know now, because we're gonna roll into the closing part of the show. It's about that time. I think we don't have enough time to go into a big question yet. So let's do this. Let's kind of round this all up with our closing thoughts. And if you've got some that you want to share with us, please do. It's always great to hear people's wisdom. And Ashley, let's why don't you get us started? What's this, and how, and what's its how? Why is it meaningful to you?
That's not my new quote.
Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see. So I'm going to do a live refresh, the live refresh over here while you wait. Is it? Let's see. All right. Let's try this
I think the
now.
other data of my listings is also going to be in that refresh. Just
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, so yeah, this is what happens when you come late, Ashley. I
I
don't
had
get
a
to.
fire. I had a non-fire fire this morning. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. Is this the one? Is this it?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, we got the new quote. Did not know. I
Thank
wish I
you.
would have known. I would have refreshed earlier. Sorry.
I'm
Go for it.
sorry.
That's all good. It's all good.
You don't rise to the level off of your goals. You fall to the level of your system. So one of my
Lavoff.
systems is my assistant helps me prep these slides for me in advance, and I did not.
It's okay.
level.
So it's you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your system. This is great. This is perfect.
This is a perfect
Thank you.
example today for me.
Great
It speaks
system.
for itself.
This is it. This is like the quote in motion. We're all watching it live unfold in front of us. Yes. So what does it? So what does it? So tell us what this means to you, though. Seriously, so Ashley, what does this mean to you?
I mean, you can have lots of goals in life, but unless you have systems to back them up and set yourself up for success, you only have a limited capacity. You have the same amount of minutes, and hours in every day of everyone else. You can only get so much done. You need systems in order to level up, whether it's being the best partner, the best mom, or the best business owner, employee. You've got to set yourself up for success. And if you don't implement those systems, you won't be able to achieve those goals or level up to them. I did not exercise my systems well today, and so I did not live off to them.
Part of it is owning it. You got to own it, and as you are owning it. So God bless you for owning it. And but it's very, very true. You can't just make goals. You got to have a system to accomplish those goals. Well said. Well said. Heidi, what's yours, and how is it meaningful to you?
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. So yeah, this is a little different than Ashley's quote, but just you have to have that big vision that's taking you to where you're going to go. And also, there could be a lot of negativity out there, but you want to surround yourself with positive people and focus on where you're going and what you want to create in the world, and not get bogged down by everything else.
Yeah, this is like perfect, right? We're again, this is like melting, and I'll be curious to see where Dylan's quote and where my quote fill in with the theme that we have evolving here. We're talking about dreams, which you have to have, right? You have to have a beauty of a dream that you believe in. Because if you don't have that, then you're not kind of going anywhere, right? That
Yeah, what's
dream
the
gives
point
you
of a system if you
what's
don't even have a good
right? What's the
How are you
point?
going to
Right? Where
live
am I
off
going?
your system and your dream or your beliefs if you don't have a dream?
Exactly. And how would you know if your systems are working if you don't have that? What's the goal? What's the point, right? What's the point? And so you got to have that, and so you have to believe in that. So well said. Thank you, Heidi. Excellent. Dylan, okay, what's yours?
I wasn't with the theme here, but this has been coming up a lot lately, and this is something that I always try and live by and keep some peace in life. Is that the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. And with all the craziness going on in the world and the discussion we were having today, and I saw a couple of friends getting into it on Facebook the other day, and I wanted to get into it because I had an opinion on it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep scrolling here. So, when you have a lot of opinions and you have a lot of thoughts, it's easy to get into arguments. I'm happy to have a discussion with anybody, but if somebody wants to have an argument, I will always avoid it. So, best policy.
Scroll past the crazy social media post. That's the advice right there.
I like the background, Dylan. It's like that volcano is gonna explode, but
it is perfectly curated.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, actually, Dylan, I think that's a picture your mom took a long time ago. I think I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that. The first eruption, and we did a show with them. Yeah,
we did a show with. I believe so. I believe that is Dylan. That is a picture from Dylan's mom, which is an amazing photo. But yeah, I mean, scroll past the crazy social media posts, man. Do not get into that. And I say this in full humility and full admission of I used to be the guy that used to drop bombs on Facebook years ago, and it kind of wore away at me because it was just like not happening. I just would wake up. I was not happy. So
no one's ever won an argument on Facebook. Everyone's always lost, right?
It's like,
you lost your time.
It's a huge waste. It's a huge waste of time. It makes everybody pissed off and you end up with nothing. It's just the worst of all things. Yeah. It's
the only winner on Facebook arguments is Facebook. So,
thank you. That's the thing. And actually, that's what got me off of I really no longer go on Facebook for anything. And that's what got me off of Facebook. I was like, wait a minute. I'm an unpaid employee of Facebook. My stuff is making those guys money and I'm not getting any piece of it. I'm out of here. That's actually what drove me. The realization I was an unpaid employee of Facebook. All right. Okay. Let's hit mine. So this one's a little bit longer, but I really enjoyed it. And it may blend in here. Proverbs 37:23. There's actually two verses here. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Though he fail, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. So I'm going to blend this into what we've been saying over here about the dreams and the systems. And that is that if your dreams, align your dreams with the divine, align your dreams with the divine force, whether you believe in God or whatever you think, whether you think it's the universe or Brahma or Prama or Mana or whatever, that doesn't matter what it is. Aligning yourself with the divine is where you align your steps. And though you will fail, because that's what life is, stuff happens, you will, things are going to go on, up and down, you will be upheld. So the moral of the story is align your dreams with the divine, align your systems with the divine, and you will be utterly upheld by the divine. So that is the proverb for today. So cool. All right. Well, I think that's it. We're going to see you back again in 2 weeks. Ashley and Heidi and Dylan, thanks for being here. It was a great, fun show. I hope the weeds were not too high. I hope there's some sense that we've made out of that. I hope that's going to help some people understand what's going on. Why don't we go counterclockwise? Ashley, then Heidi, then Dylan. Say goodbye.
Have a great Friday, everyone. Good weekend and a good Easter. We will see you after Easter.
Ooh, indeed. After Easter. Yes, indeed.
Aloha, everybody. Happy Friday and happy Easter. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hello, everybody. See you in a couple weeks.
See you in a few weeks, folks. And for those of you that celebrate Easter, have a blessed celebration of the risen Christ. Aloha. Take care.